And now, live from the studios of WHUC, this is Real Talk, where we get you something to talk about.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host, Nicholas Lofton, and today we have someone who is a familiar face on campus and a huge help to students' success. With me today, I have Executive Director of Title III and Sponsored Grants, Dr. Howard Gibson. Let's give him a warm round of applause. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very good myself. Dr. Gibson, can you tell us about your educational journey to Hines Community College?
Yes, formal education started in Jackson Public School System, where I graduated from Lanier. And upon graduating, my band director from high school, who's a graduate of Hines Community College Utica campus, kind of nudged and helped us to go and to a college pathway. And my band director is Dr. Fulton Caston. And he attended Jackson State, so he kind of nudged us to go to Jackson State. It was not my first choice, but I'm glad he did. So I liked Jackson State so much, I attended 3 times. My bachelor's in accounting, my master's is in business administration, and my doctorate is in urban higher education. And so upon graduating from Jackson State, I worked at Jackson State. Worked there for 1 year and got the opportunity to work at Trustmark National Bank as an internal auditor, but missed the college setting. And I began looking around for employment opportunities locally. And there was a position in the paper promoting Hines Community College. And it was for an activity director in Title III. And unbeknownst to me, didn't know what it was, but I applied, had the interview, and I can honestly say, I thought that was the worst interview I had ever participated in. But, you know, it's often said, tell God your plans and make him laugh. And so I got a call and offered the job, and I started on April Fool's Day. Dr. George E. Barnes, who was then the vice president, called me and hired me, and I started on April the 1st, 2003.
Okay. I understand that this is your second go-around, per se, working at Hines. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So yes, the first time, as I just spoke, started as an activity director. The activity was business development and entrepreneurship. And so when I was brought on, because it was a Title III activity, the program needed to be developed. And so what I mean by developed, tasks needed to be conducted, partnerships needed to be formed, and just programming needed to be coordinated. And so when I started in 2003, I was giving a proposal, and it outlined for the next 5 years what was expected. And so I was hired in 2003 and began developing and coordinating the activities for the entrepreneurship and business development program. And I did it for 6.5 years. Graduated with my doctorate and wanted a little bit more, wanted to engage in leadership. And of course, I wanted a little more pay. And so I left Hines in 2009 after 6.5 years of establishing the business development and entrepreneurship program, and got the opportunity. I was promoted. I became a dean of business at a liberal arts institution in Little Rock, Arkansas Baptist College. I served as the dean, but I also served as an activity director also. So I'd like to give Hines credit because I had served as an activity director when I got to Arkansas Baptist College. It kind of helped me to know what I was doing in the Title III area. And so stayed there a little bit of 3 years, and then I began moving because I kept being promoted. And so when I left there, I became an executive assistant to the chancellor at Baton Rouge Community College. I worked there for a little while and then got an opportunity to come back home. I worked at Mississippi Valley State University as the associate vice president of student affairs and enrollment management. And so that was an administrative change, and so I had to go back to Baton Rouge Community College as the executive assistant to the chancellor. And after another 1.5 years, I got the opportunity to come back to Arkansas Baptist College as a vice president for academic affairs. And so there was some change in administration, so I was appointed as the interim president of the college. Love. Some things happened, had some deaths. I lost my sister, had to adopt my 2 nephews, and then my mom passed 18 months later. And so it was a bit much, and so I stepped down as the president to raise my nephews, but sons. And so decided to go and work for Shorter College. I became the director of institutional support. And institutional support encompassed accreditation, strategic planning, assessment, and institutional research. So I did that for a year and a half, and a classmate who I had gone through the doctoral program with was a president at Wiley College, now Wiley University, offered an opportunity to come and serve as the vice president for academic affairs and strategic retention. And so I did that for 3 years. Was great timing, but COVID happened during that time. And so, you know, when COVID happened, it forced us to do a lot of things, you know, isolation, a lot of protocols was in place. And so at that time, within those 3 years, of course, I led academic affairs. We went through reaffirmation. If you know anything about accreditation, that's standards by a body, a commission of peers. And so I led the institution through 10-year reaffirmation with 0 findings. And I also applied for 3 master's programs, and so they were approved. And so now it's no longer Wiley College, it is now Wiley University as a result of increasing the level of education that they offer. And so what I didn't say, in those 3 years there, I got married. And so I needed to move back to where my spouse was, and so that was Little Rock, Arkansas. So for the 4th time, I went back to work for Arkansas Baptist College as the vice president for academic affairs. And so wanting to get back home and closer, got this opportunity. And so I took it. And so moved back home after 15 years. So I was away from Utica Community College, Hines Community College, Utica campus for 15 years. And so when this opportunity came around, I gladly accepted this opportunity because it brought me back home. And literally and figuratively, because Hines, I would say this is my first real job in the higher ed industry. So I came back home to Mississippi and came back home to Utica. So that journey led me back here.
It sounds like your life has been a movie.
Well, somewhat, yes. Yes, somewhat. But there are no regrets.
Can you please elaborate a little on how Title III works?
Sure. So Title III is a legislative act, and it is basically strengthening historically black colleges and universities. So it is federally regulated funding that is awarded to all historically black colleges and universities. And there are other designations for other institutions such as tribal, such as Asian Pacific. So there are 7 designations, but one particularly is historically black colleges and universities. So Title III is all about strengthening. And how does it strengthen? Through finance, through administrative, as well as academic. So programs can be started, buildings can be bought, library books can be purchased, upgrades and enhancement can be applied to the campus. And so that's a little just how it works. We can do just about anything with an exception of food and clothes.
Okay. We are having a great time talking to Dr. Gibson so far, and we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more information on his new position. Stay tuned.
Real Talk will be right back after this.
When it comes to different topics around the Hines community, Real Talk is the answer.
The alumni who have graduated from the program.
A lot of that is them getting to know me.
This is the show that talks about lifestyle, culture, fashion, art, and having you in the know of what's going on across the Utica campus and the entire community college of Hines. Be sure to watch Real Talk exclusively on Hines' very own WHUC.
And now, Real Talk continues.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Nicholas Lofton. And for those who are just now tuning in, we have Executive Director of Title III and Sponsored Grants, Dr. Howard Gibson. Dr. Gibson, from my understandings, there are several programs that fall under the Title III umbrella. Can you tell me what they are?
So yes, we have 2 grants. One is Title III Part B, as well as Future Act. Both, as I just explained, helps to strengthen each historically black college or university. And we get the option of knowing how and working with the administration of the college to strengthen the particular institution. So here at Utica, we have 5 programs, or what we call activities. We have 5 activities under the Strengthening Title III Part B, and we have three programs under the Future Act. The 5 programs quickly are administrative, which I have oversight of managing and assisting those particular activity directors. So that's one activity. Activity 2 is instruction and innovation equals retention and graduation, where we focus on student success. Activity 3 is the Science and Technology Innovative Lab, where we focus on fabrication, virtual reality, and the upgrade of our labs, such as science, biological, STEM labs. The other activity is construction. So every campus needs upgrades, and so whether we're building a building or enhancing the building's aesthetics, that is an activity. And the other activity is we've just brought back and reimagined what teacher education. So we now have the Teacher Professional Development and Preparation Center, where we will work with local school districts and the state to become a center of excellence, helping those individuals who didn't pass or can't quite pass. We'll provide resources to help them pass the Praxis 1 as well as 2. And on the Future Act, we have 3 particular activities: student health and engagement, where since COVID, we thought it would be best to bring an activity that focuses on the wholeness of a person, mental, physical, and spiritual. And so we have that activity. We also have a construction grant, a construction activity on that side, where we also help enhance and provide upgrades by way of equipment, software, and then the last activity we have, Computing the Great Divide, where we focus on computer science and related. So we're trying to recruit more students back to computer science. So those are our 8 activities: 5 activities on Title III Part B and 3 activities on the Future Act. So that's what we're doing down here at Utica.
Okay. How are the students benefiting from those programs?
So students, because everything we do, we have the student at the center. So the activities, at the end of the day, the activities will form so that the students will receive services and support to help them not just be admitted, enrolled, but we also create activities to help retain our students. So these activities all have student-centered. So as I just spoke to you, we have student success by way of what we also call I square equals RG, which is the instruction and intervention. So student success is one. I did speak to you about on the Future Act side, we have the student health and engagement, where students have the opportunity to focus on the physical and the physical as well as the mental, because we provide services such as nursing. We have 2 part-time nurses. So anytime a student, of course, we know where Utica is located, and so sometimes resources can be not easily accessible. And so Title III is about offering those services and support to help students navigate, to help assist students through the academic pathways. And so that's how, just as an example of some of the activities that we're offering that helps and supports students.
All right. What is one of the student success stories that through the programs that are offered because of Title III would you like to share? So
I do have a highlight. I'm glad you asked that question. So just recently at the HBCU Week Conference, some colleagues and I had the opportunity to attend, which was held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Title III offers scholarship opportunities. I am excited to announce that 3 students from the Utica campus received a scholarship. There was only one other institution that received 1 scholarship, and that was at Alcorn State, but I am happy to announce that 3 scholarships came from the Utica campus. So students, because of Title III, our students were able to receive a scholarship, and that's just one highlight. And so, you know, we have other highlights because we put on programs and activities on a monthly basis, and so students are able to receive services and support through our activities and through the program ongoing throughout the year. The grant is a 5-year grant, and it is renewable every 5 years. And so we're in this particular grant for the Title III Part B, we're within our third year, and for the Future Act, we're within the last year of the grant, which is a 5-year grant. But we will begin renewing, and what I mean by renewing, rewriting the activities for the next 5 years. And so, but to highlight those 3 students, that's a big deal because we receive scholarships where other 4-year institutions or 2-year institutions did not, and they received it because of Title III.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Lastly, Dr. Gibson, what is some advice that you would like to give to students who are trying to understand how to take the next step after graduation or who are currently struggling in college?
So I would say to students, I know sometimes you may be an introvert and sometimes you may be an extrovert, but college is all about experience. And so always get a chance to know your faculty and staff, just speak, and so get to know the faculty and staff. Title III can help because, as I stated, we have several activities. We have a student success activity, and the name of it again is Instruction and Intervention Equals Retention and Graduation. That activity is led by Ms. Licious Nettles, and so her and her staff are wonderful. Again, they offer instructional support by way of a writing lab, a math lab, and a reading lab. We also have what's called interventionalists. Anytime students are struggling, they can't make it to class, or they are falling behind on their assignments, they can speak to Ms. Kennedy. And Ms. Kennedy will help students, by reviewing their plans and trying to put a plan together that will help the student matriculate and not just prevent stop out or drop out. So on the other side, we have an activity led by Mr. Wesley Epperson. He is the director of that particular activity. If you just need to relieve stress, he and his staff can help you come up with a plan. You can meet with the mental health nurse. You can meet with the actual medical nurse. And so between him and his staff, they can outline a plan. If you're just stressed, they can provide the tips. And I would encourage students, please participate in our activities. In the Bulldog Blast, look out in the Bulldog Blast, or look, I think, in the Heinz Insider, outlines different activities from week to week or month to month or semester to semester, different activities that Title III as well as the college. So it's about taking advantage of and not being nervous or scared, because there's someone here that will assist and support you. That's what we're here for. We wouldn't be here if it was not for our students. And so Title III is specifically about strengthening whatever program or infrastructure of the institution. And so those are services and suggestions and then services that I would ask students to take advantage of.
Okay. I would like to thank Dr. Gibson for taking time out of his busy day to sit down and share some great knowledge with us about the Title III program and its lasting impact on students. Remember to like us on Facebook at Radio and Television Production and subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up to date with all stories surrounding Heinz. You're watching Real Talk. Until next time.